Welcome back. I am pretty charged up to revise the concepts once again before moving to the next section. Here's the summary. There are two kinds of charges, namely positive and negative. Like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. When some charge is transferred by touching or rubbing, it is known as charging by contact. Charging by induction and grounding is often an efficient way of charging a conductor. It's time for some self-assessment and improvement. Time to crack the exam code. Yes, the exam decoded section is next. You are watching Exam Decoded, a segment that arms you with tips and tricks to drive those exam blues away. Here, you not only test your conceptual clarity on the topic through a quick round of rapid-fire questions, you also get familiar with the exam trends. Also, knowing the trends is not enough. We help you identify and polish the abilities you need to approach this topic better in the exams. If it's exams, it's time for the last-minute advice and counsel. We bring in an expert who will give you valuable tips on the topic. We begin with rapid-fire questions, where I'll shoot 5 questions at you. All you need to do is record your answers and wait for the rating. So here we go with the first question. Both mass and charge are scalar quantities. Is it true or false? It's true, because both mass and charge have no direction. Just because charge is positive or negative does not imply that it has a direction. Next one. Bits of paper when brought close to comb get attracted to comb after combing dry hair. It's a consequence of charging by contact. Is it right or wrong? It's false. This is due to polarization. I hope you're writing down your scores. Next one. When some charge given to a material spreads on the entire surface, the material is a conductor and it's not an insulator. True or false? Give yourself one more mark if you marked it's true. Ready for the next one? 2 plastic rods, each rubbed with cat's fur, repel each other but are attracted to fur. True or false? The answer is true. Last question coming up. What out of the following is the name given to the process of sharing charges on a conductor with earth? Conduction, charging, grounding, or induction? And the right answer is grounding. Did you get that? Great. If you scored all the 5 correct, congratulations. You are a topper high flyer. If you scored 4 or 3, you are doing great. Our rating is excellent. If you scored any less, then you are still a learner. You want to go beyond that, don't you? Helping you get there is our website, topperlearning.com, where you get more practice and revisions. Remember, the episode on electric charge is part of the chapter Electric Field and Charges, which is a subset of the unit electrostatics. Electrostatics is worth 8 marks in a 70-mark theory board paper, over 10%. The episode on electric charge spans through very basic concepts of methods of charging a conductor and an insulator and strengthens your foundation to secure that 10%. Don't forget that even though the concepts are simple, they tend to be tricky, provided you keep the difference between the methods of charging in the right perspective. And now it's time to resolve panic and prescribe the right formula for your better performance in the exams. Each topic demands a unique skill. Whether it's purely knowledge, say to be able to learn a definition and state it, or conceptual, which is the ability to interpret the concepts right and apply them. A knack and proficiency in solving numericals is also extremely critical. So let's see what the appraisal on this topic is. It's your knowledge and conceptual ability that will be tested here. So time to ace these skills. Let's look at one question that tests your conceptual ability. Here is a typical question. A metal sphere is suspended from a nylon thread. Initially, the metal sphere is uncharged. When a positively charged glass rod is brought close to the metal sphere, the sphere is drawn towards the rod. But if the sphere touches the rod, it suddenly flies away. Explain why the sphere is first attracted, then repelled. This would typically be a 2-mark question. Excellent question to establish if you have a clear understanding. The first mark solely depends on mentioning that initially an opposite charge is created due to induction. Since unlike charges attract, the sphere jumps and sticks to the rod. Now, since the charge is shared between them after touching, both the sphere and the rod have the same charge. Immediately they repel each other and the sphere flies away. This will ensure the second mark. Now that we have run an ability check for the subject of electric charges, it's time now for the examination expert to take over.
Electric charge is a part of electrostatics and is an important topic. When two bodies are rubbed together, there is transfer of charge from one body to another. When the students are asked if the mass is also transferred, the usual answer is no. Actually, the mass is transferred. Although the mass of electron is very small, but the number of electrons transferred is very large. Therefore, the mass is transferred. Secondly, when two bodies are brought in contact, then sharing of charge takes place between them. Suppose there are two bodies A and B having charge Q and 3Q. When they are brought in contact, they will share the charge equally. Each will have 2Q. Also, one should remember that relative permittivity is the same as dielectric constant. This chapter, although very abstract, is very important as it forms the basics of physics. Wish you all the best.
And that's all in the exam decoded section. Keep persevering and keep on excelling. All that must have been quite a roller coaster, but I'm sure it was all worth it. Before we call time for this episode, we look at the key learning points. Make sure that you understand the basic properties of charges well enough to be able to identify the charge exchanges across the bodies in contact. Experiments related to charging by contact and induction could be a source of confusion. Hence, ensure that you understand the first principles right. Hey, did I tell you that this is also a static effect of charges? This reminds me of something. Phenomenon like this and others, like nylon clinging to the body, are common during winter months. Why in particular during dry season? Indeed, such observations are relatively less common during raining season. Hence, there is less scope of we getting those electric shocks due to static charge discharges. Keep practicing at topperlearning.com and you'll definitely get better at physics. And remember, it's your universe. Know the rules.